Hi, I'm Curtis Parker. Today I'm going to talk to you about the soldier, General Douglas MacArthur, and his accomplishments. General MacArthur was a great leader. He had a high rank, but in the end he forgot who he was and his duties and the orders of those appointed over him. General MacArthur was born and raised on an army base. His father was a general. He graduated first in his class at West Point. During the First World War, he did many great things, won 7 Silver Stars, and made the rank of Brigadier General. After World War I, General MacArthur was appointed to West Point as the superintendent. He made many great reforms, such as requiring all cadets to be in the sports program and modernizing the curriculum to today's standards or to today's situations. At 45, General MacArthur put on Major General. He was the youngest Major General ever. After this, for the next 5 years, he was Division Commander in Atlanta and Baltimore. In 1930, he became Army Chief of Staff, which was a hard time for Army Chief of Staff because of the Depression. General MacArthur had to reorganize his forces and many of his tactics and procedures. During this time, he also helped President Roosevelt in his New Deal program to develop a civilian conservation corps, which employed single young men who didn't have jobs. Due to his organizational skills, this corps flourished his entire time. In 1936, General MacArthur left his position as Chief of Staff and went to the Philippines to help this new upcoming country develop its army. There he was appointed Field Marshal of the Philippine Army, and he set up standards, tactics, and increased the size of their army. Due to General MacArthur's past experience with the Philippines and his experience as an engineer in Japan and in Hawaii and traveling around the country and the Pacific, he became the Philippine Army and the American Army's expert. The War in the Pacific for the Americans started after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And the Japanese attacked the Philippines the next day. General MacArthur and his ragtag force of Americans and Filipinos fought off the Japanese as best they could. But unfortunately, they were cornered onto the peninsula of Bataan, where eventually General MacArthur was ordered to leave this area to go to Australia. In Australia, General MacArthur helped develop and train the forces that would one day conquer the Japanese Empire. This was done by the tactic of island hopping, in which the forces would bypass several islands to cut off the supply chain of the islands that were underneath, and this giving the will of those that were cut off not able to fight. After the Japanese surrendered, General MacArthur became the governor of Japan. He did many great things and worked many great hours to do this. He helped develop their industry again, and he helped them to write a new constitution. In 1950, North Korea attacked South Korea and drove the Americans and their allies to the southern tip of the Korean Peninsula. General MacArthur developed a tactic of beach landing at Incheon, where he flanked the North Koreans and drove them back to North Korea and chased them up to the Yellow River. At the Yellow River, the Chinese got involved and became part of the North Korean army and drove the Americans and their allies back to Seoul. At Seoul, they had many great battles and lost a lot of lives and property. This was disheartening to General MacArthur, who wanted nothing but total victory, and he thought that the best way to achieve this was nuclear war. Unfortunately, nuclear war was against the administration's and President Truman's policy. General MacArthur went on to criticize this in a letter he wrote to the American press. Once this was published and President Truman saw this, he was very upset about this insubordination and dismissed General MacArthur the next day. General MacArthur was a great soldier. He was very dedicated to his duty. But in the end, he forgot his duty as a soldier to obey the orders of his subordinates and those appointed over him. I have a few visual displays. This is a picture of General MacArthur with President Truman. at Wake Island before he was dismissed. And everyone probably recognizes this picture of General MacArthur on the USS Missouri signing the surrender accommodation when Japan surrendered to America and the Allies. That concludes my speech. Thank you.